special guest referee Stone Cold Steve Austin rings the bell. A 6-time WWE champion knows what it's like to hold the biggest prize in world wrestling entertainment. And right now, Chris Jericho does not want to argue with the special guest referee, and then slaps Batista. That only angered the animal, and now it's the animal who's going to unload with a shoulder attack to the midsection in the corner on Chris Jericho. And Chris Jericho realizes he needs to get out of the ring, and now Chris Jericho going to regroup off that false start as Chris Jericho starts talking to himself. Got to think about what he needs to do. Chris Jericho might even just walk out of here. Chris Jericho, the world heavyweight champion, he's like, I don't have to worry about this. Chris Jericho's walking away. Well, the real question is, what is Stone Cold doing? Whoa, that just picked this match up a notch. Stone Cold making sure that Chris Jericho's antics will not work in this match. Any disqualification or countouts on Chris Jericho, with Chris Jericho trying to avoid facing the Animal Batista, will result in a world title change. The Animal will win the title if Chris Jericho gets counted out or disqualified. And now, with that message from Stone Cold Steve Austin, that completely removes the champion's advantage. And now Batista unloads these heavy attacks on Chris Jericho. And you can see why Chris Jericho was running away as Batista goes for the cover, only able to get the 2 count. Batista, without a doubt, has the size and power advantage over Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho, an incredible mind manipulator. But this time, you can't out-manipulate a manipulator, especially somebody who doesn't like any funny business like the special guest referee Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then Jericho, being a little crafty, able to send Batista to the outside onto the floor, buys himself a little bit of time to regroup. Baseball slide knocks out Batista on the floor. And now Jericho taking his time to recover. And Jericho starting to shift the pace of this match. You could start to see what kind of pace Chris Jericho wants for this match. And Batista just blocked that springboard drop kick, just swatted it away. That's just how powerful Batista is. He just swatted Jericho. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Batista's legs caught in the ropes. This is bad. And now Jericho's going to target the knee of the Animal. The thing about this is Batista's had work done on his knee. He's had his knee surgically repaired in the past. And now with it all caught up, it's all fair game for Chris Jericho. Just an unfortunate predicament for Batista with a great nonetheless a great opening for the champion Chris Jericho. And Chris Jericho goes to the outside. And a kick to the side of the leg gets the challenger, the Animal Batista, back into the ring. Chris Jericho just gave himself the biggest opportunity in this match to really turn things around, to really take advantage of a man who's has the size advantage over him, like Batista. But Batista just countered with a chin lock. Batista's got a chin lock with his legs wrapped around the waist of Jericho. Jericho able to break free, and a kick to the side of the leg of Batista. Jericho measuring up the Animal. And now targeting the injured knee with a chop block to the back of the knee. Oh my. Now Jericho stomps the knee of Batista into the ground. And it's all legal. It's just it's just an attack on the knee. There's nothing illegal about going after the knee of your opponent. It's all about breaking down your opponent. And especially when you have an opponent that's bigger than you, the best thing you can do is target something that is extremely important to them, like their leg. And now Chris Jericho is starting to pick up some speed and kicks the knee right out from under Batista. Right onto that injured knee. This is where Jericho excels. That manipulation of the mind, the manipulation of the body. As you can see it one more time, that drop kick kicking Batista's leg from under him as Batista went face first into the mat, wrenching the knee of Batista. And this all works out for Jericho in the end if he can apply that Walls of Jericho submission hold on Batista. Batista trying to fight back with his knees, his good knee, to the head of Jericho. And Batista was able to create a little bit of separation, but Jericho is right back on the attack on Batista with this sleeper hold. And you heard Jericho ask Austin to ask Batista if he wanted to quit. Jericho wants this to be over as quick as possible. He does not want to deal with the animal Batista any longer than he has to. But the one thing about taking out the leg of Batista is that it takes out a lot of the power that he has, but somehow Batista able to pick up Jericho and send him into the corner, creates the needed separation. But a drop toe hold by Jericho sends Batista face first into the middle turnbuckle. And it seems that Jericho still has a little bit of work left to do on the back of the leg. And the power that Batista was able to have to pick up Jericho to send him into the corner is kind of the message that, you know, maybe Jericho is telling himself, okay, there's more damage that needs to be done. Batista has Jericho in trouble, perhaps looking for a Batista bomb, but Jericho counters, roll up. Oh, but Batista just kicked out at 2.5. Near fall for the champion on the challenger. Batista was just barely able to get the shoulder up off the mat. And Jericho just circling around Batista. That's a wounded Batista. It's like a shark who smells blood in the water as circling its prey. But ironically, it's the big man who's being circled around by the manipulator. That is Y2J, Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho, once upon a time, defeated the special guest referee Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock in the same night to become the undisputed WWE champion. Chris Jericho, also an 8-time Intercontinental champion. Both of these athletes are incredible athletes. Batista, a former world champion. And Batista trying to get back up to his feet. Batista with a right to Jericho. Jericho with a kick to the leg. And now it's Batista. You can see Batista starting to build a little bit ahead of steam. Clotheslines Jericho in the corner. And now sends Jericho to the opposite corner. Picks up Jericho. Batista has Jericho up high. Boom! And a power slam. And despite the damage done to his leg, still had enough power in the leg to pick up Jericho for the running power slam. Batista wasting no time, was looking for the Batista bomb. Jericho looking for the Walls of Jericho. And this connects right here. Batista may be left with no choice but to tap out with all the damage that's already been done to the knee of Batista. Stone Cold watching this closely, asking Batista if he's able to continue. Batista is in no man's land right now, in the center of the ring with nowhere to go. And you can see Batista, starting to tremble, his arm starting to tremble, trying to fight through the pain. You can see his face trying to push through the pain. But how much pain is the animal willing to endure before he says it's enough? Will Batista survive? Will this match continue? But now Jericho turns all of his attention on all the weight on the one knee of Batista with a single leg crab. And now switching the inner knee as he beats it with the fist at the same time. Batista is starting to raise his arm as if he was going to tap. He's close, and Batista makes it to the bottom rope. And Stone Cold forcing Jericho. Stone Cold pulling Jericho off Batista, grabbing him by the hair. There aren't too many referees that can do that without any repercussions. But I also wouldn't mess with Stone Cold if I were you, because you could not put your hands on the referee, because Stone Cold said, if you get disqualified, you're going to lose your championship. Well, and attacking a referee is a disqualification. It doesn't matter who the referee is, even if it is a 6-time former WWE champion. Batista, world side slam. 2 count. Is that close? Near fall. A near fall. Thought that was it, but that was a near fall. Batista pulling back the leg for the cover. And it was not enough on that black hole slam. Went for a clothesline. Jericho ducks under. Batista catches Jericho in air. And Batista trying, but Jericho trying to squirm. Jericho trying to squirm out of it to prevent the Batista bomb. And then Jericho, great ring awareness, realizing he was close to the ropes to prevent the Batista bomb. And Jericho kicks the back of the knee. The veteran Jericho has Batista in trouble right where he wants it. Batista doesn't realize what's behind him, but gets caught with a clothesline in midair. Jericho flies and crashes and burns as Batista pulls the leg back to become the world champion. But Chris Jericho gets the shoulder up just in the nick of time. Let's take a look at this. Boom! What a clothesline, almost decapitating the world heavyweight champion. And it's a wounded animal. It's a wounded animal who's in the corner, writhing in pain, but measuring up. Chris Jericho stalking the champion. An animal, a predator stalking his prey. Oh, but Jericho sidesteps. Batista was looking for the spear, but Jericho sidestepped. Batista went shoulder first into the steel ring post. And Jericho quickly to the outside. Now it's Jericho who's looking for the much-needed turning point. Batista's had the last couple minutes of this thing. And it's Jericho who's trying to make sure Batista does not leave Cyber Sunday as the world champion. And Batista throws Jericho off the top. And now it's Batista. This is not familiar territory for the animal. Shoulder tackle off the top for the cover. Will it be enough to win the world championship as he pulls back the leg? And Jericho gets the shoulder up just barely before the 3. Talk about a close call. Yet again, another close fall in this match. These two are really pushing each other to their limit. Oh, what a boot. Stunning Batista. Batista has Jericho. Was thinking that patented spine buster, but instead Jericho plants Batista with a DDT. And now it's Jericho's going to capitalize with a cover. Oh, and Batista kicks out. Batista able to kick out. These two are really bringing the fight to each other. Talk about near falls in this match. These two just brutalizing each other, doing whatever it takes, because that's what it means to be the world heavyweight champion. And now Jericho's starting to complain about Austin's count. Oh no. Oh no. And Jericho sidesteps. Batista was looking for a shoulder tackle, but instead Batista hit Austin, and now it's a code breaker from Jericho if he can pin him. But the problem is there's now no referee. Jericho, there's no referee. Look at this. Shawn Michaels is the other special guest referee. It seems that the cover of Shawn Michaels is not counting. And you complain about a slow count. And Batista kicks out. Michael's saying his arm hurts. I don't think Jericho appreciates that count. Jericho just pushed on Michaels. What? Faked it with a... That's JBL. And the clothesline from hell taking out Michaels. JBL just prevented Batista from winning the world title with the help of another special guest referee, Shawn Michaels. It seems there's just a lot of special guest referees back there here at Cyber Sunday. But anything can happen when the fans get to vote. And Jericho doesn't even know what really happened with JBL taking out Shawn Michaels. And now it's the shifts. The tides have shifted. Oh no, and now it's Jericho with the World Championship. Who the? Randy Orton. Another special guest referee? Randy Orton's going to call this thing. Boom. And Randy Orton lets it all happen. If it was Austin who saw it, Austin would have called for the bell and Batista would be champion. Oh, but Batista kicks out despite being clocked in the skull with the World Championship belt. Uh-oh. A young legend killer is about to find out. A young legend killer, Apex Predator, about to find out why I don't mess with a Texas rattlesnake. And a stone cold stunner. The rattlesnake. Oh, Chris Jericho now mess. And there's one for a stunner on Jericho. Batista with a spine buster. And now it's the animal who is being unleashed. The animal is being unleashed. Batista about to take out Jericho. And here it is. Batista bomb. Batista bomb connects and Austin goes for the cover. Can Batista do it? Batista's the world champion. This match was filled with all kinds of turns. Whether it was Stone Cold Steve Austin as a special guest referee, or Shawn Michaels, or Randy Orton getting involved in the mix. All these things played out with JBL getting involved, but in the end, it would be Batista. Despite the damage Jericho did to his knee, he would prevail. And now Batista can once again call himself a world heavyweight champion. As one of the greatest to ever do it, hands him his newly won championship. I'm talking about special guest referee Stone Cold Steve Austin, one of the greatest of all time, raising the hand of the animal Batista, and you can see it. The sign says it all. And new world champion, the animal Batista, with a smile on his face and a handshake from Stone Cold. Batista finally regains gold here at Cyber Sunday. Congratulations to the animal Batista.